The house was quieter now, not silent. There was the hum of the fridge in the kitchen, the soft ticking of the old clock in the hallway, the occasional chirp of birds outside the window, but it was the kind of quiet that settles in after something important has gone missing. In this case, it was Liam, Tiger, a 17-year-old tabby with mottled fur and clouded eyes, lay curled at the edge of a closed door. The door to Liam's room. It hadn't opened much in the last 6 months. Sometimes Liam's mother would step inside to dust, straighten a blanket, or check on the books gathering dust on the shelf. But Tiger always noticed no new scent, no Liam. The room itself was like a paused memory. A stack of textbooks on the desk. A faded hoodie slung across the back of a chair. A framed photo of Liam and Tiger when they were both much younger. Tiger barely larger than a slipper, and Liam missing a front tooth, laughing. Time had moved on outside this room, but inside it stood still. Tiger used to spend every night in this room, nestled at Liam's feet, or occasionally sprawled across his pillow, claiming the best spot before Liam could. They had a routine. After school, Liam would throw his backpack on the floor, scoop up Tiger, and rub behind his ears in that perfect spot that only Liam knew. At dinner, Tiger would wait beneath the table for the inevitable scraps Liam would sneak to him. And every night before bed, Liam would whisper, "Good night, Tiger," as if the cat could truly understand. And maybe, in his own way, Tiger did. Now, the days stretched long. Tiger moved slower. He slept more, ate less. He would sit by the bedroom door, nose pressed near the bottom, as if he could breathe in a trace of Liam's scent. Sometimes, he'd limp under the desk where Liam used to sit for hours playing games or finishing homework, and just wait. Liam's parents, Margaret and Tom, tried their best. They were kind, careful, doting even. Margaret warmed his wet food just the way Liam used to. Tom brushed Tiger's coat gently each evening, whispering soft words of comfort. But they knew, just as Tiger did, that they were only placeholders. Tiger wasn't waiting for food or comfort. He was waiting for Liam. In the early days after Liam left for college, the family had tried to include Tiger in video calls. Margaret would hold the tablet near him, hoping for a reaction. Liam would call out, "Hey, buddy, miss you." Tiger would flick an ear, maybe glance lazily at the screen, but it wasn't the same. The screen didn't smell like Liam. It didn't carry the warmth of his hands or the familiar rhythm of his laugh. It wasn't just longing. It was a kind of mourning. The seasons had begun to shift. Outside the bedroom window, the trees had turned gold and red. Leaves danced in the wind, skittering across the lawn. Margaret had begun decorating for fall warm tones, little pumpkins, cinnamon-scented candles. But inside that room, summer still lingered in the scent of old sneakers and sun-warmed blankets. Tiger limped to the window and watched a leaf fall. He blinked slowly, his tail flicking once, then going still. Behind him, the door remained closed, the room silent. Downstairs, Margaret called softly, "Dinner time, Tiger." The clinking of a spoon against a ceramic dish followed. Tiger didn't move. He lay down in the patch of sunlight by the door, his old bones creaking as he settled in. His ears twitched at the distant sounds of the house, but his eyes remained on the door, always the door. It wasn't just a place. It was a promise, of return, of reunion, of the day Liam would come home and call his name again. Until then, Tiger would wait, and the room would wait with him. The dorm room buzzed with the sound of laughter, music from down the hall, and the constant ping of group chats. Posters lined the walls, bands Liam had only recently discovered, a corkboard full of reminders for exams, and a small photo tacked near his desk. It showed a younger Liam, gap-toothed and smiling, holding a tiny kitten in his lap. Tiger's eyes in the photo were wide and curious, his fur a clean patchwork of orange and white. That photo was the only piece of home that had made it to campus with him. It was Sunday afternoon, call day. Liam turned off the music on his laptop, grabbed his phone, and stepped out into the crisp autumn air. The campus trees were shedding their leaves, gold and orange carpeting the sidewalk. He found a bench near the library, thumb hovering over the call button. As always, he felt a pang of guilt tighten in his chest. He hadn't been home since the move in August. His parents understood. College was demanding, and he had midterms. But still, the ache in his gut lingered. The call connected. His mom's voice came through, warm and familiar. "Liam, how's my college boy?" They talked for a while. About classes, the never-ending pile of assignments, his new friends, even the dining hall's attempt at lasagna. But soon enough, his voice softened and the familiar question slipped out. "How's Tiger?" There was a pause. Not long, but enough to make Liam's stomach twist. "He's slower," his mom said gently. "Sleeping a lot, eating a little less. I took him to Dr. Kwan last week." Liam leaned back, watching a red leaf fall from a tree. "Is it bad?" "He's just old, honey. 17 is a good long life for a cat. The vet says we should just keep him comfortable. He doesn't seem to be in pain, but we're keeping an eye on him." He didn't know what to say. His mom continued, her voice cautious. "He still lies by your door, every day. Same spot." Liam rubbed the bridge of his nose. "I'll try to come home, maybe next weekend." "You don't have to drop everything, sweetheart," she said quickly. I thought you'd want to know, in case." The call ended a few minutes later with promises to stay warm and study hard. Liam stayed on the bench, staring at the phone in his hand, as if it might somehow bring Tiger closer. He thought of how Tiger would curl on his chest after a long day, purring like a tiny motor, of how the cat would meow with indignation if Liam was even 5 minutes late for feeding time. He remembered the feel of Tiger's fur beneath his fingers, the warmth of that little body curled beside him through so many childhood nights. But things were different now. He had 3 exams next week. A lab report due Thursday. Meetings. Events. Life was moving fast, and going back home, even for a day, felt like trying to hit pause on a world that no longer waited. Back home, Tiger slept under the desk in Liam's room. The sun had shifted, and the beam that once warmed his favorite spot barely reached him now. His breaths were shallow, slow, his dreams flickering like old film. Sometimes, when he stirred, his ears twitched at imagined footsteps. Liam's mom would tiptoe in, laying a blanket over him, whispering softly, "He'll be home soon, Tiger." Tiger didn't lift his head. He was waiting, but waiting was getting harder. That night, Liam sat at his desk under fluorescent light, laptop open, fingers poised over the keyboard. But he couldn't write. His eyes drifted to the photo on the corkboard, that little kitten and the boy who loved him. He picked up his phone again, scrolled to the bus schedule, hovered. Not yet, but soon. He told himself it would be soon. The house had fallen into a quiet rhythm since Liam left for college, but Tiger's routine never changed. Every afternoon, just after 4 p.m., the time Liam used to burst through the door from school, Tiger would hop onto the window ledge by the living room and stare out at the driveway. His tail curled neatly around his paws, his eyes fixed on the street, waiting. Sometimes he stayed there for an hour, sometimes more. When a car door slammed nearby or tires crunched along the gravel, Tiger's ears perked up. He'd rise slowly, the stiffness in his legs more noticeable now, and trot to the door, meowing softly. But each time the car passed or the wrong neighbor appeared, and Tiger would stand there, tail low, before returning to his place by the window or curling back up beneath Liam's desk. Liam's hoodie still hung from the back of his desk chair, a worn gray thing with a faded college logo. Tiger often climbed onto the seat and nuzzled it, resting his head there as though expecting Liam to walk in and scoop him up like he used to. The hoodie smelled faintly of Liam's old cologne, just enough to stir memories that a cat couldn't explain but felt deep in his bones. From the hallway, Liam's mother watched this quiet routine unfold again and again. Each time, it pulled at her heart a little more. Over dinner, she brought it up with her husband. "He still waits," she said, her voice low, "at the door, in Liam's room. It's like he thinks Liam's just gone for a long nap." Her husband stirred his tea slowly. "He always knew when Liam was coming home before we did. He's barely eating," she added. Dr. Kwan said it might just be old age, but I don't think that's all it is. He's sad. He misses him. He nodded. Liam's a freshman. First year's tough. Lots of pressure. I know, she said, but maybe he should come home, just for a weekend, before it's too late. There was a long pause. I think he should too, her husband said at last. But it has to be his choice. They both understood what that meant. No guilt, no pleading, just a quiet truth, left gently in front of him. Back upstairs, Tiger stretched out on Liam's bed, twitching in his sleep. He was dreaming, his legs kicked slightly, his ears flicking. Perhaps he was dreaming of the old days. The endless summers when Liam would chase toy mice across the room, or how he used to sneak Tiger pieces of chicken under the dinner table, or the quiet nights they spent curled up together while the boy whispered stories and secrets no one else ever heard. He had been there for Liam through every scraped knee, every bad grade, every fight with friends and heartbreak from first crushes. When Liam had the flu in 5th grade and wouldn't eat, Tiger refused to leave his side. He was there during late-night study marathons, curled into a warm ball on the textbook pile, like a purring paperweight. He had watched Liam grow from a boy into a young man, and now he waited. The next morning, Liam's mom called her son. They talked for a while about school, about the weather. Then, casually, she said, "You know, Tiger's still waiting for you." Liam didn't respond right away. "I'm not trying to pressure you," she added. "Just thought you should know. He's slowing down. We don't know how much longer we have." Another pause. "I'll think about it," Liam said softly. After the call, his mom returned to the kitchen. She didn't cry, but her chest ached with that strange mix of sadness and hope. Upstairs, Tiger stirred, rose from his spot on the bed, and padded toward the window again. Like always, he sat. He waited, and outside, the sun filtered through the golden leaves, the driveway still and silent. For now. It was past midnight when Liam's mother heard the soft, dragging sound outside the bedroom door. She got up, heart tightening, and opened it slowly. Tiger stood in the hallway, unsteady on his feet, swaying slightly as he tried to walk. His hind legs trembled with effort. "Oh, sweet boy," she whispered, crouching down. He had tried to make it to the litter box in the laundry room but hadn't gotten far. There was a small mess behind him, and he looked back at it with dazed eyes, as if confused or ashamed. She gently scooped him up in her arms, cradling him like a child. "It's okay. You tried. It's okay." She wrapped him in an old towel and sat on the couch, holding him close. His breathing was shallow, his body much lighter than she remembered. Tiger didn't purr, just rested his head against her chest, his ears twitching faintly at her voice. The next morning, the vet came. Dr. Kwan had known Tiger since he was a feisty kitten chasing shoelaces in the exam room. Now she sat on the edge of the couch, a hand resting gently on his side as he lay on a blanket. Her expression was soft but clear. "He's tired," she said. "He's not in pain, but his body's starting to let go. Maybe a few days, a week at most." Liam's mother nodded, biting her lip to hold back tears. She looked toward the stairs, where Liam's room sat quiet and untouched. That evening, Liam called. "How's Tiger?" His voice crackled slightly through the speaker, but she could hear something else layered beneath it. Hesitation. Fear. She didn't sugarcoat it this time. "He couldn't get to the litter box last night. He's not eating," Dr. Kwan said. "A few days, maybe." There was silence on the other end. She continued gently, "Liam, I really think he's holding on for you." The silence stretched. She almost thought the call had dropped, until he finally said, "I'll be on the next bus." She didn't cry until after the call ended. Later that night, Tiger stirred from his nap on the living room blanket. He didn't touch the food in his dish. Instead, he slowly made his way up the stairs, one step at a time. His movements were slow, deliberate, as if each step was a decision. He reached the top and paused. The door to Liam's room stood slightly ajar. With the last bit of strength in his limbs, Tiger pushed it open and stepped inside. The room smelled faintly of Liam, dust, old hoodie cotton, something citrusy. Tiger made his way to the desk chair and sat beneath it. Then he shifted, turned once in a slow circle, and curled up beside the hoodie that had become his second skin these past few months. He didn't purr. He didn't sleep. He just lay there, eyes half closed, as if waiting. Downstairs, the house was quiet. Liam's parents sat close together on the couch, neither saying much. The suitcase in the guest room had already been pulled out, ready for Liam's arrival. The wind rustled the trees outside, and the first cool hint of autumn drifted in through the window. It was the kind of night that made the world feel still, suspended between seasons, between comings and goings. And in Liam's room, under the quiet hum of the ceiling fan, Tiger waited. Not long now. The bus pulled in just after 11:30 p.m., its headlights sweeping across the small, empty station lot. Liam stepped off into the cool night air, his backpack slung over one shoulder, a duffel bag in his hand. The town was quiet, familiar in its stillness. It smelled like pine and distant rain. His father was waiting by the car, hands in his coat pockets. No words were needed, just a quiet nod, then a quick hug. Liam tossed his bag into the back seat and got in. The drive home was short. The house came into view, porch light glowing softly. His mother was at the door, arms wrapped around herself, eyes bright with emotion. She didn't say anything when she hugged him, just held him tightly for a few seconds longer than usual. "He's upstairs," she whispered. "Hasn't moved all day." Liam nodded and headed straight for his room. The door creaked open gently, and the scent of his old life flooded in: books, dust, the lingering trace of his cologne. The hoodie he left behind lay crumpled near the desk, and there, nestled beside it, was Tiger. The old cat didn't move right away. His breathing was slow, his body a little smaller than Liam remembered, as if time had whittled him down while he was away. But then Tiger stirred. His ears twitched, and with great effort, he lifted his head. Their eyes met. "Hey, buddy," Liam whispered, his voice already thick. Tiger blinked slowly. Then, as if waking from a deep dream, he pushed himself upright, shaky, deliberate. He took 2 uncertain steps and reached Liam's outstretched hands. Liam dropped to his knees, his backpack falling to the floor behind him. He cradled Tiger's fragile frame, one hand sliding behind his ears, the other supporting his chest. Tiger leaned into him, purring, soft and strained, but unmistakable. Liam laughed under his breath, the sound breaking into a sob. "I'm here," he said, forehead pressed gently to Tiger's. He stayed like that for a long time, just holding him, whispering nonsense and old nicknames. Tiggs, Captain Whiskers, Pounce King. Tiger didn't respond with energy, just presence. The way he always had, quiet, warm there. Eventually, Liam lay down on the floor, pulling the old blanket from the bed. Tiger curled into the crook of his arm, his body molding into the familiar space as if no time had passed at all. The room fell into a hush, only the soft whir of the ceiling fan above them and the fading rhythm of Tiger's purr filling the space. Downstairs, Liam's parents sat in silence, the kind that carries weight and peace in equal measure. They didn't need to check on him. They knew. Upstairs, Liam stared at the ceiling, Tiger's breath rising and falling against his ribs. He remembered every night he'd fallen asleep like this as a kid, after bad days, nightmares, or just because Tiger insisted on being close. Those nights felt eternal, untouched by the world. Now, the moment felt the same, sacred, unbreakable. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but tonight they were together again, and that was enough. The morning light filtered in through the half-closed blinds, soft and golden, warming the corners of Liam's old bedroom. Liam stirred awake to the faintest breath against his arm. Tiger hadn't moved all night, but he was still there, breathing barely, his eyes closed in a calm that felt deeper than sleep. Liam placed a gentle hand over Tiger's side, feeling the fragile rhythm of his chest. "Hey, buddy," he whispered. "We're still here." Tiger didn't respond with a purr this time, only a tiny twitch of his ear. Liam knew. He carried him downstairs wrapped in the faded blanket that had always lived at the foot of his bed, the same one Tiger used to need before curling up to sleep. His parents were in the kitchen, quietly sipping coffee. When they saw Liam cradling Tiger, they didn't speak. His mom just touched Liam's shoulder as he passed, her eyes shimmering. The backyard was still damp with dew. The breeze was soft, carrying with it the scent of grass and spring. Liam knelt beneath the old oak tree where he and Tiger had spent so many afternoons. The same tree where he'd read books aloud to the cat, built cardboard castles, and played chase in younger years. He sat with Tiger in his lap and began to talk. He told him about college, about the roommate who snored too loudly, and the professor who reminded him of a grumpy owl. He told him about the bad days when he wanted to quit and how just thinking of home and of Tiger kept him grounded. "I don't think I ever thanked you," he said, tears falling freely now. "For everything. For being there, even when I didn't deserve it. You were always just there." Tiger's body was still, his breath slow, but peaceful. His head rested against Liam's wrist, as if listening. They stayed there for hours. When the sun climbed high, Liam finally stood and carried him back inside. That evening, Liam lay on the floor again, Tiger cradled beside him in the quiet that only comes when a house is holding its breath. The light dimmed, shadows stretching long across the walls. The ceiling fan hummed, and Liam spoke softly into the space between them, his voice a lullaby made of memories. At some point in the night, Tiger's breathing stopped. There was no sound, no struggle, just stillness. Liam woke before dawn and knew immediately. Tiger's body was warm for only a moment longer, nestled still against his chest. Liam didn't cry right away. He just held him, eyes closed, listening to the absence. Later that morning, the family gathered in the backyard. The ground beneath the oak tree had already been gently turned. Liam knelt beside it, holding a small wooden box. Inside, Tiger lay wrapped in the same blanket, curled like he was only napping. Liam placed a small photo inside the box before closing it. One of him and Tiger on his 10th birthday, arms around the cat, both of them beaming. He kissed the box once and whispered, "Thank you," one last time. They buried him beneath the tree, in the shade where he had always liked to nap. Liam stood back, hand in his father's, while his mother wiped her eyes beside them. It hurt. It would hurt for a while, but in the ache there was peace. Tiger had waited, and Liam had come home. Under the old oak tree, love was laid to rest, but never forgotten. The dorm room hadn't changed while Liam was away. His textbooks were stacked in the same lopsided pile. The poster of his favorite band still hung crooked on the wall, and the half-empty bag of trail mix sat untouched on his desk. But something inside him felt different now. Quieter, heavier in a way that wasn't sad. Just full. He dropped his duffel on the floor and reached into his backpack. Inside, between his laptop and a book he never finished reading, was the printed photo. It was the same one he had tucked into Tiger's box, but this copy was for him. In the photo, he was 10, grinning with 2 missing teeth, and Tiger sat calmly in his lap like a little guardian. Liam gently taped it to the wall above his bed. He stared at it for a long time, not needing to say anything. College resumed its rhythm quickly. Classes, study sessions, loud dorm halls. But Liam was different now. He called home more often, not just to ask how things were going, but to really listen. He asked about the garden, about his mom's new recipes, about how the neighbor's yappy dog was doing. And he asked about the flowers. His parents had planted them just days after Tiger was buried, circling the old oak tree in the backyard with marigolds, pansies, and tiny wildflowers that Liam's mom had once said looked like confetti from nature. When spring came, they bloomed in full color, gold, purple, white. His dad sent photos with captions like, "Tiger's watching over us in style." Each time Liam came home now, he visited the tree. Sometimes he brought a book and read aloud like he used to. Sometimes he just sat there, letting the silence speak. There was comfort in the breeze, in the rustle of the leaves above. Tiger was there, not in body, but in every part of what home now meant to him. And even away from home, reminders surfaced. One afternoon, Walking across campus between classes, Liam noticed a calico cat lounging in a sunbeam near the art building. The cat's eyes met his for a second, and for a moment, something stirred in him, familiar and soft. He smiled, slowing his steps. "Hey there," he said quietly. The cat didn't move, just blinked slowly. Liam chuckled under his breath and kept walking. But as he did, he whispered to himself, barely loud enough for the wind to carry it. "Thank you for waiting, old friend." And with that, he stepped forward into his life, not forgetting but carrying, always carrying.